I am Kate Rand and I'm the People and Operations Director for Beyond. I think before I answer that, it's best to give some context, because the industry we're in, which is predominantly the creative sector and then also tech, because we span both, there is some real work to be done around D&I in that particular area. So The Guardian published an article a couple of weeks ago around some of the issues that were still happening within advertising around like sexual harassment and things like that, and how they were still going on. BEMA published a report around inclusion within tech a couple of weeks ago, and that talked around the fact that people in tech are 5 times more likely to be depressed than someone from outside of tech. So we have some real chunky issues that we need to deal with, which some of the other sectors are actually light years ahead of us. So the work that we did as an agency is we sat down and we went, right, we don't want to compare ourselves to other agencies, because if we compare ourselves to other agencies, we'll only ever get mediocre at this at best, because they're not doing very well at it. So let's compare ourselves to the people out there that are really, really progressive. And actually the people that are progressive are more like the public sector and places like that, because they are able to put more efforts into these things. So hence one of the reasons we entered the Employee Engagement Awards, and the reason we entered Best Companies last year as well, is we wanted to actually benchmark ourselves against these people and see where we placed, and also the things that we could then do to kind of build upon that. I think first of all, don't make any assumptions. We started in 2017 with our quest, and we made one of our strategic priorities for the business think differently, and this had 2 sides of it. One was around the people side, the other was around the work itself, because as an organisation that has its success marked on the ability to innovate and pivot, if we don't have enough diversity within the organisation, we're unable to innovate. So we started off and we said, right, this is something we need to focus on, but very quickly we realised that actually maybe the ideas that we had weren't necessarily the same as everyone else in the organisation. When you have a company that is split across the US and the UK, it's very easy to assume that the D&I challenges and pain points are the same, because everyone speaks the same language. It feels like the cultures are very, very similar, but actually they're worlds apart. Even the culture within New York and San Francisco are completely different. Just because they speak English doesn't mean it's the same. So don't make assumptions. Go out and ask your people where the challenges are that they're facing. Look at the industry that you're in, look at some research and understand where you sit versus the rest of that industry. And then I would say make sure that you iterate. Don't put anything out there and say this is the answer. You need to go out and you need to be very organic about it, and you need to be very considerate. You need to listen to what people are saying to you. Surveys are great, but they're a snapshot in time, and there are so many hidden reasons for why you get the result you get. So we do use them. We use NPS surveys. We do them every 6 months, but we have a very large people team. So in the London studio, I have 8 people, which is huge. Some of those do have North American responsibilities, but some of those are London specific. And a few of them, their main role is just to talk to people. So that can be anything from organising the social and culture side of the strategy, making sure that people are involved in it, going to the events, which sounds like such a small part of it, but it's really important for people. Even to the HRBP, who, if you watch him when he goes in the morning, he just basically bounces from desk to desk. You think, oh, he's not doing any work, but he is. What he's doing is actually incredibly important, because he's having those off the record informal conversations with people just to see, how did you feel about that? How's that going? Is everything okay? And you can't underestimate the power of the human touch in those situations. So we have internal and external metrics. The external metrics are more around the recognition piece that we get for the work we do, and that comes with some of the internal bits which are more lag factors. So for instance, the Best Companies comes with a survey which the employees have to fill out, but it's like 6 months old by the time you get the data. So that is one way of doing it. And then internally we have the very base, we have the EMPS survey that goes out every 6 months to everybody in the organisation, and that has in it a score that you give, so we have some hard metrics from it, and then it has the qualitative data that comes out from it as well. In addition to that, we do smaller focus groups within the studios, and rather than give those a metric that goes behind it, we just have them to talk about a specific issue, or we do Q&As and things like that. And then the final piece we do is every studio, the people team within that studio does what we call user research. So it's a user experience tool to understand a bit more about the users and to make sure that you're delivering something that they actually want. So we use it, and we get a strategist from each of the studios to run this user research around how the studio feels the people team is performing for them. Okay. And this is really interesting. So we don't use it and benchmark a particular score against the previous time we did it, but we use it to say, right, okay, these are the issues that got brought up last time, these are the issues that got brought up this time, how are we feeling about that, how's this improving?